Okay, we can start now. And I would like to say hello to everyone and Sawadee from Thailand. Dear participants, dear partners, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our webinar on Making Cities Resilient 2030 series. Um, the name of the webinar is Cities Experience in Applying Water-Related Disaster Management Approaches and Methodologies. My name is Armen Rostomyan and I will be the moderator for this webinar. This 2030 MCR series thematic webinar will focus on introducing Asian Pacific region cities tested water management tools, methodologies and approaches derived from the practical experiences and knowledge of the cities from Asia Pacific region. The tools and approaches we'll present at this webinar will give you an evidence-based information on how you can integrate considerations of climate change uncertainty into the development of disaster risk reduction, resilience and adaptation action plans and strategies for the cities. I'm excited to inform you that we have over 300 participants registered and attending the webinar globally. We will have at this webinar about 10 distinguished speakers who will make a short presentations. Our speakers are high-level city officials from the Asia-Pacific region. Also, we'll have key staff and managers from UN agencies and international organizations such as UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, UNEP, UN ESCAP, UN Habitat, International Federation of Red Cross, ICLEI, ADBC, Ministry of Environment, Japan, and Regional Resource Center for Asia and Pacific. The webinar is planned to last for 2 hours with 2 question and answer sessions after each of 4 short presentations. Just a few ground rules I want to share with you. That I would like to inform you that the webinar will be recorded and we'll upload the recorded version of the webinar at the RRCAP YouTube channel and AP Plat website. My colleague Charina will post the link of AP Plat and RRCAP websites in the chat box soon. I also would like to request all participants to use a question and answer function to post your questions. This question and answer function you will find on the lower right corner of your screen. There are these 3 dots. I think you click on it and press on question and answer section. Please type your question, and when you type your question, also please indicate to what speaker it is addressed. Please also use the chat function for general communication only. Speakers' short biographies will be posted there, and the panelists will also be posting relevant links and sharing important information via the chat box. Hence, follow the chat box closely. We'll also have post-event evaluation form, which will be posted toward the end of the webinar in the chat box. We will also provide you the links to the presentation materials. Again, my colleagues will share via the Google link after each of the presentation. With this in mind, I would like to welcome you to invite our next keynote speaker, Dr. Yuko Yoshida, Deputy Director, Climate Change Adaptation Office, Global Environment Bureau, Ministry of the Environment, Government of Japan. Dr. Yoko Yoshida, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Armen-san. So, dear partners, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, greetings on behalf of Ministry of the Environment, Government of Japan. It's my honor to deliver this keynote speech in today's MCR 2030 series thematic webinar on Asia and Pacific cities' experience in applying water-related disaster management approaches. This webinar is organized by the Regional Resource Center for Asia and the Pacific at the Asian Institute of Technology in consortium with the Ministry of the Environment, Government of Japan, United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, United Nations Human Settlements Program, the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, Local Governments for Sustainability, United Cities and Local Governments, and Asian Disaster Preparedness Center. Thank you very much, all of the institutions cooperated to this webinar. And I would like to share some statistics on issues and current trends in water-related disasters management. Over the past 20 years, there has been a sustained rise and frequency in the number of climate-related disasters such as floods and droughts. A large part of disaster risk is directly or indirectly linked to water. Extreme events have dominated the disaster landscape in the 21st century, a trend that can be linked to the rise in water-related disasters. 4.5 billion people were affected by disasters between 1998 and 2017, 96% of which were water-related. It is estimated that the global average annual loss from disasters will increase from an annual average of 260 billion US dollar in 2015 to 414 billion US dollar by 2030. This puts at risk economic growth, poverty reduction, and more generally, the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Death toll of disasters have been contained due to global efforts and achievement of science and technology. On the other hand, the economic losses due to disasters have been skyrocketing. About 90% of financing for disaster risk reduction worldwide is directed at emergency response and reconstruction rehabilitation, and it has been increasing year by year, while the amount disbursed for disaster prevention and preparedness is limited to about 10%. So what will the cost if we do not take action to address these issues and trends? I will share some of the examples. The Asia-Pacific region has a narrow window to increase its resilience and protect its hard-won development gains from the socio-economic impacts of climate change. In the absence of immediate action, temperature rises of 1.5 and 2 degrees Celsius will cause disaster risk to outpace resilience beyond the limits of feasible adaptation and imperil sustainable development. Current annual losses from drought, floods, heat waves, tropical cyclones, and related biological hazards, and tsunamis and earthquakes are forecasted to increase. Such disasters and extreme weather events will undermine productivity and increase inequality. Indeed, in the broader Asia-Pacific region, there is a strong intersection between risks from disasters, inequalities of income and poverty, because the population is more highly exposed to disaster risk. In the least developed and landlocked developing countries, disaster losses could become a driving force for persistent inequality. Disaster-related losses are particularly dangerous in both the agriculture and energy sectors. Climate hazards will continue to drive environmental degradation and reduce biodiversity. So what can we consider to seize the moment to protect our future? The world faces a disaster emergency, yet nowhere is the threat more immediate than Asia and the Pacific. The number of disaster-related deaths would inevitably rise, as would the annual cost of disaster-related losses. To avoid this exponential growth of disaster risk, there is a narrow window of opportunity to increase resilience and protect hard-won development gains. To seize the moment, the following strategic actions may be considered and needed. Firstly, greater investment in multi-hazard early warning systems should be a priority. Multi-hazard early warning systems can shield people living in disaster risk hotspots and reduce disaster losses everywhere by up to 60%. In order to contribute to the UN early warning initiatives, Early Warnings for All, Japan launched the initiatives to promote the development of early warning systems through public-private partnerships last year to encourage the installation of early warning systems for businesses by the Japanese private sector in the Asia-Pacific region and the development of business that utilizes these systems. In addition, under the framework of the WMO, Japan continues to support national meteorological services by providing information and technical cooperation through the operation of regional centers on weather observation, tropical cyclones, and climate, and by strengthening their capacity through WMO programs. Secondly, nature-based solutions can be at the heart of mitigation and adaptation strategies. They support the sustainable management, protection, and restoration of degraded environments while reducing disaster risk. Thirdly, transformational adaptation can deliver the systemic change needed to leave no one behind in multi-hazard risk hotspots. Such change will cut across various policy areas such as aligning social protection and climate change interventions, comprehensive disaster and climate risk management approaches, and capitalizing on innovations in technologies and climate science. And fourthly, mainstreaming adaptation into all relevant policies. It's important for national governments and cities to integrate climate change adaptation into relevant measures such as disaster management, agriculture, forestry, and fisheries, and biodiversity conservation to effectively and efficiently promote these measures and mainstream them into policy. It's also possible to bring co-benefits by promoting measures with multiple policy objectives, including adaptation. Mainstreaming adaptation from policies and initiatives and disseminating adaptation throughout the region will lead to further increases the potential to promote transformative adaptation. Now is the time to work together to build on innovation and scientific breakthroughs to accelerate transformational adaptation across the region. In addition, in order to further strengthen urban resilience in the Asia-Pacific region, regional and national strategies and action plans need to be developed, and the cooperation of international organizations, including UN agencies, multilateral financial institutions, non-governmental actors, and others is essential to achieve them. The United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development can be achieved if we ensure disaster resilience is never outpaced by disaster risk. Let us seize the moment and protect our future in Asia and the Pacific. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that by participating in this webinar, we are in the right place and at the right time. Together, let us accelerate the exchange of ideas on these important thematic areas and share experiences, lessons learned, and good practices. I am confident that you will find new ideas, fresh energy, and novel partnerships to sustain your efforts in further strengthening the resilience of our cities to water-related disasters and climate change in Asia and the Pacific region. I wish you all a very successful webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yoshida-san, for very insightful keynote speech. And it's a pleasure for me to invite Dr. Gilberto Baragnan, Executive Director of EIT Regional Resource Center for Asia Pacific, to deliver his welcome speech. The floor is yours, Dr. Baragnan.
Thank you very much, Armen. Ms. Yoko Yoshida, Deputy Director, Climate Change Adaptation Office, Global Environment Bureau, Ministry of the Environment, Japan. Partners, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Sawadee krap, a very good afternoon and good day to all of you. On behalf of the Regional Resource Center for Asia and the Pacific of the Asian Institute of Technology, I am delighted to welcome you to this MCR 2030 webinar series, Asia Pacific Cities Experiences in Applying Water-Related Disaster Management Approaches, a part of the Making Cities Resilience 2030 initiative in close collaboration with UNDRR, UN Habitat, IFRC, ECLI, UCLG, and UNESCAP. I would like to express my gratitude to the Ministry of Environment, the Government of Japan, for the continued support and cooperation with EIT, and especially for the conduct of this webinar. Let me say a few words about our center to our colleagues who may not be familiar with us who are present here. Our center is one of the outreach centers of EIT, working to bridge the gap between science and policy for sound sustainable development processes and policies at national and regional levels in the Asia-Pacific region. We complement EIT's research education, additional capacity building activities towards the achievement of its mission. For more than 3 decades, since its establishment of the RRCAP, we are fortunate to have built trusted relationships and partnership with key stakeholders across the region and beyond. So why is building cities' resilience to climate change and disaster risk so important to address? You know that local government play a vital role in bolstering stakeholder capacity for city resilience. They unite diverse groups, including communities, NGOs, businesses, and government agencies to reinforce urban resilience or city resilience. By fostering stakeholder capacity and facilitating inter-city cooperation are pivotal for urban or city resilience, incorporating climate adaptation and risk reduction into development strategies that will enable cities to cultivate resilient communities prepared for climate challenges. With water-related disasters impacting billions and causing economic losses, this webinar addresses challenges such as floods, droughts, and storms, knowing that population growth, poverty, and inadequate infrastructure exacerbate these disasters' impacts. Indeed, we have few tools that will be showcased here, as well as experiences. And before that, please allow me to briefly introduce our 2 e-learning courses we developed and launched this month, the month of March. First, we have the Integrating Gender Indigenous Factors into Locally Led Adaptation e-learning course, which can equip you with interactive tools to keep you engaged as you dive into these potent approaches of LLA. Additionally, we also offer the Flood Simulation e-learning course, or FLOOD-S, which is a user-friendly web tool that allows you to simulate flood scenarios in your city, which is available for free as an introduction. You can dive into for the flood simulation of FLOOD-S e-learning course, our 4-module e-learning series to understand flood risk, master the FLOOD-S tool, and explore real-world case studies to protect your community. And by the way, these e-learning courses are now accessible in the EP platform. It is our sincere hope that by this webinar, MCR 2030 participants will not only enrich your capacities and knowledge in the field of city resilience assessment, but also acquire actionable insights to replicate in the development of city resilience action plans, as well as to anticipate that this webinar will furnish you with exemplary practices and case studies from countries across the region, showcasing what will be showcased here, their experiences in implementing the Sendai Framework and Paris Agreement at the local level in Asia and the Pacific. In closure, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our partners, the support from the Ministry of Environment of Japan, and our esteemed resource speakers for your invaluable contribution and support towards the MCR 2030 webinar series, and our attendees here for taking time to join us for this webinar. I wish you all an engaging and enriching webinar experience, and I hope you find the insights shared to be beneficial. A warm welcome once again to this webinar, and good afternoon.
Dr. Corona, thank you very much for the words of warm welcome. Thank you. And with this, I would like to introduce our next speaker. It's a pleasure to invite Dr. Oh Seon-soo, Officer of Public Safety Office, Ulsan Metropolitan City. Dr. Seon-soo will share experience and management cases of flood disasters in the Taheva River Basin shared from 2030 Resilient Hub. Dr. Oh Seon-soo, the floor is yours.
Of Ulsan Metropolitan City Hall, Republic of Korea. Please understand that I'm not good at English. It is an honor to be able to participate in this seminar hosted by APEC members economy to address water-related disaster in the era of climate crisis. Water disasters are not only a concern in Ulsan, but are increasingly becoming a severe issue globally. The severe of water disaster due to extreme weather events caused by climate changing is escalating. Ulsan Metropolitan City is facing these problems and is actively working to respond to water disasters. This presentation focuses on water disaster case in the Taehwa River Basin in Ulsan. We have experienced significant damage in recent year due to typhoon and heavy rainfall. Through this case, we will examine how Ulsan is responding and what measures are being taken to prepare for the future. Firstly, let me provide an overview of the Taehwa River Basin. The subject of this presentation, the Taehwa River Basin is represented by the Taehwa River flowing through Ulsan. Historically utilized mainly for agriculture, the basin now hosts various forms of industry, which contribute to the economic development of the surrounding area. Moreover, is both natural landscaping like a Taehwa River Natural Garden, making a renowned tourist destination. Next. Typhoon Chabar, which struck South Korea in 2016, inflicted severe damage, particularly in Ulsan. It results in 3 fatalities, 161 evacuees, extensive flooding of numerous residents, commercial buildings and roads, causing significant human and property loss. Next. As depicted in slide 4, the area near the Taehwa River Basin experienced severe flooding. These regions suffered from inundation, of vehicle and building due to heavy rainfall-induced flood. Next. Typhoon Chabar caused unprecedented damage among October typhoon landing on the Korea Peninsula. Notably, Ulsan recorded accumulate rainfall of 2016 6.2 millimeter with the maximum hourly rainfall of 98.3 millimeter. Based on the frequency of rainfall occurrence, it was assessed that the 1 hour rainfall was of more than a 500-year frequency, and the 6 hour rainfall exceeded 150 years frequency. Such abnormal rainfall exceeded plant flood level and embankment height, resulting in overflowing of the Tewa River and local extreme. Consequently, area in low-lying region suffered severe flooding. Next, we have prepared step-by-step response measures to prepare for damage from large-scale typhoon like Chaba. Firstly, short-term response measures, including establishing an emergency notification system to alert typhoon occurrence and anticipated damage earlier. We have also set up emergency medical support system to address contingencies promptly, aiming to prevent casualties and damage emergency effectively. Additionally, systems for guiding emergency evacuations to safe area and install emergency lighting and generator to prepare for power outage have been implemented. Next, secondly, medium to long-term response measures have been undertaken. Since 2018, Ulsan have been continually developing flood disaster management system utilizing ICT, real-time monitoring system for water level, rainfall, flood monitoring, and CCTV can be instantly accessed via mobile device. Such systems serve as critical factors in minimizing typhoon damage. Consequently, Ulsan has not recorded any casualties or vehicle flooding damage since Typhoon Chaba. Next, we have established system to respond to typhoon damage with advanced technology capabilities. However, active participation from citizens is paramount to cultivate a culture of safety. Active engagement in disaster prevention, education, and training is crucial, along with familiarizing oneself with typhoon preparedness measures. Within local community, collaboration with neighbors is essential to minimize typhoon damage. If the international community collaborates to develop sustainable response measures, we can collectively build a safer future. With this, in conclude the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oh-seon-so, for sharing your Korean Ulsan metropolitan city experience with us. Next speaker is Mr. Kurt Garrigan. Mr. Kurt Garrigan is the Chief of Sustainable Urban Development Section of UN SCAP, and he will speak about thinking cities. Mr. Kurt Garrigan, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Armin. And thank you to the organizers for including ESCAP and UN Habitat in this webinar. I'm going to share a presentation that was developed jointly by both ESCAP and UN Habitat. It's focused on an initiative that we are collaborating on to raise awareness of really an emerging issue in many of the cities across the Asia region. It is about essentially cities that are sinking across the region or experiencing land subsidence. This is in addition to the climate impacts that I think we're all aware of. Just some statistics and facts that I think everyone is aware of, that more than half of the region's population lives in urban areas. Many of the region's emissions come from these same urban areas. They face environmental risks that are well known, including severe droughts, severe flooding, and severe weather events. And many of these same cities are also facing poor air quality. But what is less known is that many of these same cities are experiencing significant land subsidence, or they're actually sinking into the ground. And it's across the region, and this is just a handful of cities that you see here, from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Thailand, Indonesia, Australia, Philippines, Vietnam, China, and others. And while there's some attention on it, there's not significant awareness in the cities, especially in those cities that are still emerging, or the secondary cities that are still developing, and developing in such a way that they may very well experience the same issues in the future. So looking at the cause of land subsidence and why are some of these cities sinking, it is essentially the way that cities are urbanizing and the lack of management of their natural resources. You can see simply in the development of Shanghai over a very recent period of time, that significant development. This includes obviously significant amounts and volumes of groundwater extraction to service all of these buildings that have developed over the years. Obviously, this is related to urbanization, related to industrial development, economic development, housing, a number of social and economic advances that are happening across the region and have significant benefits. But some of the adverse impacts are essentially that some of these same cities are sinking. There is a lack of monitoring systems for this particular environmental issue, and it's really exacerbating the multidimensional impacts of climate change, especially in coastal communities that are already facing flooding from severe weather events. So how do we address the land subsidence issues? We know that it's a question of both applying and deploying mitigation and adaptation measures, looking at comprehensive urban resilience strategies and how land subsidence, land development, urban and territorial planning all come into play, looking at holistically at, again, how do you manage a city? How do you develop in a sustainable way? How do you allocate natural resources to service that development? And how do you protect those same limited natural resources? We know that as cities expand, that also places significant pressures on both water resources for both to serve the urban areas as well as the agricultural areas and the food systems that are expanding as well and have significantly more demands for these same water resources. So we know that urban territorial planning is critical. We know that integrated water resource management systems are also very much essential. But what we need to also highlight is that, especially in some of these cities that are already facing land subsidence, that we need better monitoring systems, both ground, subsurface, and using innovation and innovative monitoring systems such as satellite imagery, because the impacts really are irreversible. Once the land has sunk, while groundwater can be recharged, the land generally cannot be restored to its original. So there are some, a number of cities that are working on this. And on the side here, on the right side, you've seen a series of images related to Indonesia and the city of Jakarta. Indonesia, as many of you know, I think probably all of us know that Indonesia is building a new capital in Nusantara, in part because of land subsidence in parts of Jakarta. However, even when that new capital is operational, there'll be millions of people still living in Jakarta. So what's happening is that there are significant financial, physical, and cultural assets at extreme risk from this emerging issue, and it needs to be addressed in many of these cities. So the foundation here is looking at spatial planning, land use and zoning regulations, building regulations, protecting areas that may have experienced groundwater over extraction, looking at those land use and zoning regulations also in the context of, again, integrated water resource management, controlling groundwater withdrawals, but also looking at other solutions, including water harvesting, recharging aquifers, water treatment and recycling of water to limit groundwater extraction. And there will need to be significant infrastructure investments, both in water facilities and water retention systems. And there are some emerging solutions such as sponge cities that will also begin to address the problem. And these are in addition to adaptation measures such as seawalls as well, because relocation really is a last resort. So the priorities that UN Habitat and ESCAP see for the region is first to raise awareness. We need to understand what are the consequences of unplanned development and the over-extraction of groundwater, and what are the policies and interventions to address that. We do believe that the identification and installation of better monitoring systems so that urban planning is then based on data-driven information and evidence-based decision-making, and deploying remote sensing and satellite technologies. We also need to establish a community of practice among cities and experts and a coalition of partners, including many perhaps in the MCR platform, to bring attention to this and also look at some of the solutions, identifying best practices, the capacity gaps, and the investment needs. And we do know that ultimately policies need to be developed that could be integrated with climate policies that build on regulations and look at legislative mechanisms as needed. What UN Habitat and ESCAP will be doing over the course of this year is convening a series of expert group and awareness-raising events, including at ESCAP's Committee on Environment and Development in October, to again identify how and what some of these cities need in terms of technical support, financial support, and institutional arrangements to begin to address the critical issues. We do believe, ESCAP and UN Habitat, that there are some foundational opportunities. And they go back essentially to our co-publication and the 4 thematic pillars that all cities, regardless of their starting point and regardless of whether they are currently experiencing land subsidence or facing development pressures in the future, should focus on. And those are urban territorial planning, urban resilience and multi-level climate action, digital transformations and smart cities, deploying the best technologies, and then looking at how to finance many of these solutions. We'll invite you to really look at the Crisis Resilient Urban Futures report, which was launched last October at the Asia Pacific Urban Forum. There are a number of solutions in each of these 4 thematic areas that I'm just scrolling through, and I know my time is up. So I will just leave you with that and invite you to either scan the QR code or look at either UN Habitat or ESCAP's website to find the report. Look forward to any feedback that you have, and for those of you who are interested in joining this initiative and bringing attention to land subsidence and sinking cities, we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much, Armen. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garrigan. I think you've done very interesting and insightful presentation outlining the trends and causes of why cities in Asia Pacific region are sinking, as well as kindly introducing UN Habitat and UNESCO joint initiative on and recommendations as well as priorities on how to address these issues of sinking cities. Thank you very much for your presentation. It's a pleasure now to invite our next speaker, Mr. Ju Wen Chen, who is the president of Ding Tai Corporation Limited in Taiwan. Mr. Ju Wen Chen will speak about eco-technology and revolutionary infrastructure solutions for global urban water and environmental challenges. Mr. Ju Wen Chen, the floor is yours.
女士先生们，大家好！非常感谢布洛根博士及主办单位的邀请，参与这个有意义的活动。我是陈瑞文，品代股份有限公司创办人，也是 JW 生态工法发明人。今天我想借此与大家分享 JW 生态工法。
Ladies and gentlemen, good day. I would like to thank Dr. Brogan and the organizer for inviting us to participate in this meaningful event. I am J.W. Chen, the founder of Ding Tai Co and inventor of JW Co technology. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to share with you about JW Co technology.
气候变迁带来极端气候，全球气候灾害频传，如洪水、干旱、地层下陷、空气污染、水污染、热岛、沙漠化、粮食短缺、地球暖化等危机，而这些环境问题都被证明与传统城市建设有关。因此，本人特以革命性JW生态工法的科研与实际成果案例，作为应对气候变迁调试及环境修复的具体解决方案，与大家分享。因时间关系，敬请参照以下本公司专人的简报说明。谢谢大家。
Climate change has brought extreme weather events and global climate disasters such as floods, droughts, land subsidence, air pollution, water pollution, heat island, desertification, food shortage, and all the crises of global warming. These environmental issues has been proven to be related to traditional urban construction. Therefore, I present the revolutionary JW Eco technology with scientific research and a real example as a concrete solution for climate change, adaptation, and environmental restoration. Please referring to follow presentation for detail. Thank you. So in Taiwan, we actually have a lot of rain. So the average rainfall will be 2,500 millimeters per year. That's 3 times in comparison to world average. However, we still suffer from water shortage. We are the 18th ranked in water-stressed country. So the main reason is that we cannot retain the water. So we need to, and also that we see that we have a lot of droughts and floods, and it is getting worse. Namely, bipolar, that still enlarge the rainfall difference. So we need to figure out a way. For example, in the year of the 2018, we have very severe flooding. And that's because we have the rainfall just 600 millimeters in one day and cause very severe loss of lives and poverty. But in year 2021, we have the worst drought in 56 years. And the water supplies was rationed. And since Taiwan plays a very important role in global chip supply, there's a crisis for the global economy. So But for our project, the Living High School actually survived both the flooding and the droughts. So the school is based in the southern part of Taiwan, which suffer from water scarcity every year due to the very long dry season. And this school also suffered from flooding and dengue fever because their floor, their ground is 70 centimeter lower than surrounding ground. But after implementation of JWCO technology, the school becomes reservoir and converting the flooding water into the resource. In this way, we solve both the flooding and drought at once. So the secret is the on-site water circulation. We achieve on-site water circulation by rainwater harvesting, on-site water storage, the wastewater treatment. The benefit includes economic, environmental, and social. And one of the highlights will be that the school has mentioned that the annual savings in water and electric bill actually has exceeded construction costs. So let's talk about the on-site water circulation. We know that water is a finite resource. However, actually it's highly recyclable. For example, we still have water because water circulates itself in the nature, but according to just as previous speaker has mentioned, due to the urbanization, the water circulation has been blocked. So another example for the on-site water circulation will be the swimming pool. In this way, the water can be greatly saved in a higher efficiency. So this is a way to increase the water efficiency and solve water problems. So we aim to build a JWCO smart sponge cities with on-site water circulation, so as to embrace Earth and benefit humanity. So JWCO technology opens up the Earth's internal surface and have multiple benefits in water, carbon emission, environment, and the sustainability. They have a lot of features, for example, like roads as a reservoir, stormwater to resource, on-site water circulation, gutter-free. The roads become power plant, carbon capture, low carbon methods, saving energy by reducing heat island. Then the roads act like a wetland for temperature regulation, converting desert to oasis, purifying water, air and water. Also, it's very low bearing and very high lifespan and low overall cost, and for the achieving the circular economy. But today we mainly focus on the water aspect. So by using JWCO technology, we can create a sustainable on-site water circulation. It will be recovered water with our JW permeable pavement and retain water with the JW bearing rainwater harvesting module. And by using the pavement wetland, we can purify water to reclaim water. In this way, we can use water again and again and again, and also convert the cities into sustainable reservoir. So when you observe JWCO technology pavement, you will see a lot of the vents. The vents are quite an iconic feature for JWCO technology. And these vents provide channels for water and air to natural circulation. In this way, we can achieve the environmental restoration. So we provide a highly permeable pavement. The infiltration rate will be greater than 12,500 millimeters per hour. In this way, we can absorb all the rainwater on site. And by using this, we can to prevent the flood and drought. So we know that conventional permeable pavement use the void structure, so they are very vulnerable in strength and limited their applications as well as the life cycle. But JW code technology is the only permanent payment in the world that air heavy vehicle. So this will be application can be for the airports, container truck, the container ports, or any load-bearing high traffic payments. So we also provide the world's first load-bearing water harvesting machine structure. We know that in city, the detention capacity for flooding or for water harvesting is quite limited. By using our technology, we can create a lot of space for rain harvesting and for retention. So we know that the Tokyo underground reservoir in Japan is quite famous. And we provide a very simplified version for store water underground. So by retaining the water and the air underground, actually we see that there will be a lot of water content and organic carbon matter under our payment. And we also observe very thriving microorganisms with very high activity and biodiversity. So in this way, we call it the underground wetland. In this way, we can to contribute to the biodiversity and so on. So by using this, the roads are no longer deserts, and now they are converted to oases. So the underground wetland actually contribute to water purification. Something especially we want to mention is that the JW code technology eliminates the drainage gutter. And the original gutter actually can be converted into underground reservoir. So we see the water in the previous gutter now being purified in the reservoir. Huge difference for the before and after. So we also know that by retaining water actually contribute to soil reviving. And we know that for the agriculture, it actually consumes a lot of water, something like 70% for the total water usage. So we can also convert the farmland into reservoir. In this way, we actually can greatly reduce the water usage. And we can provide food in the city, and we can convert the desert into oasis. So JW Eco technology has been recognized by many international awards and publication and certification. One highlight will be the Global Role Achievement Award. We are the first and only permeable project that winning this winning this award. That's we are recognized by the DIPCOM awards for SDG, and we also selected in Water Changemaker Innovation Awards with our on-site water circulation model. So for conventional methods, just drain the water away and cause a vicious cycle in water circulation resulted in survival risk. But now we have JW technology, we create on-site water circulation and we can achieve sustainable development. So JW technology directly achieve 15 SDG goals and supports other two. So we know the beauty of the words that actually they are interconnected. By connecting the dots, we can form a JW smart sponge city. In this way, we can ensure the sustainable development of our future generations. So let's work together to make city resilient. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lui Wenchen. I think you bring very good perspective of the private sector company, a construction company, in ensuring that ecosystem sponge cities approach is properly implemented in Taiwan. Thank you for this presentation, and now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Goswami, who is a city engineer and general manager of Rajkot Smart City Development Limited in India. Mr. Goswami will speak about Rajkot's endeavors in implementing flood mitigation and groundwater recharge. Mr. Goswami, floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Myself, I am YK Goswami. I am working as a city engineer in Rajkot Municipal Corporation. It's one state of the India, Gujarat state, and the one ULB is called the Rajkot Municipal Corporations. So my focus is how to locally make the sustainability as far as the water is concerned, because we are on that particular portion of our country that has seeking the waters. So I just now share my presentations. Next. So these are the locations and demography. So my means ULB local body name is Rajkot Municipal Corporation, is about say 162 square kilometers, is divided into administrative 3 zones and 18 wards. Population is 2 millions. Especially I am focused on the types of climate. We are failing in a semi-arid, hot and dry summers. So Rajkot are facing the problem of the water for last 30 years. So we are concentrating more on the water related community based. My focus is the community based participate to rainwater harvesting. So Rajkot is very famous for the industrials and foundries and machine tools. Is settled on Aji and Nyari River. We all know very well all the settlement are to be either in a lake or near to the river. So in a past, these both river are perennial river, but now at present it's not to be perennials. Next. These are the scenario of our Rajkot city. We have traditional lake. About say in 1950 we have lake, but after that things nothing more are to be added on. But now the community-based participant is to be main focus. So our average rainfall is 500, and there is a hardly 30 rainy days throughout the year. Recently, last 5 years, we observed the intensity of the rain is very heavy, very high. For that reason, the percolations or the water holding are the biggest problem. So we are doing the work on a small scale basis in a community level. So Rajkot is a population is a 20 lakhs population is there, and then daily need is about say 350 MLD per day, daily consumption. But what happened? Only 50% is local source, and remaining 50% we are take the water from about say 300 kilometers away from the Narmada dams. So it's totally at present we are dependent on other source which is available 300 kilometers from our place. So transportation cost is also be more. As far as the groundwater is concerned, due to lack of groundwater harvestings, the water is going very down. So there is some portion is not potable water. Next. So these are the some pictures which is so new. These old days we are taking the water from the grounds, right? So 30 years back there is no systematic water supply is to be there. So several common borehole are to be dug in a city that will be now at present defunctioned. So we just convert these all the functions bore into the recharge. Next. These are the these are the natural flow pattern of the Rajkot. So Rajkot, all the lines between the Aji and river, there is a 19 major flood point which is already identified within city that will be converted into the rainwater harvestings by installing the bore and the filtration mechanisms. Next. So you see on the bottom is our well-known place is called the Resco. So at that time during rain, the water flooding is there. So we are just install one mechanism that will be take the means all the water filtered water. I am saying filtered water in a ground recharge. You see within our the all water are to be penetrated in a ground. So now I focus, my main point is focus community based. All things are not done by the government, but if the people, community people, a group of societies that create some initiative, it will be given a tremendous impact. So I am observed for last 30 years working. It's not from 1 or 2 years. This Pond City concept is just maybe new, but in this particular society, this is a 30 years back. These all are installed and effectively till today are working. Next. So these are the one portion of the society I just marked there. It's 1996. The entire society common plot, means common activity plot is there. We dug 5 feet for 1.5 meters below the ground. So all the surrounded roads, water are to be such a way that will become on that particular land parcel is called the common plots, right? These are on right side my picture. These are proposed at present traditional way we are recharge these things, but it's proposed. One good friend from Taiwan are just mentioned in presentations. There is a permeable blocks or permeable paving is there. So same will be applied here as the red color shows. Will be we are planning to install permeable paving block. That means multifunctional. At present, what happens? Suppose we have to make any structure as a rainwater harvesting structure, just like shown on the picture. It will be used for only for harvesting. But during monsoon, it will be used for the harvesting, and remaining 2 seasons, means a 9th month, remaining 9 months, it will be used as a social functioning. The small kids are playing in that particular garden because they're very safe. It's a below 1.5 meter below the grounds, right? So you see the data is a 100 square kilometer plot, simple, and 1.5 storage capacity. Each and every each rain that will be penetrated about say 15 lakhs liters in a ground. So the first initial state detention period is only one hour, but at the end of season, monsoon season, it may be 5 to 6 hours. So we have already in ward number 9. Second good things. Recently, our municipal commissioner Anand Patel sir is to more participation, community participants in ULB. We have certain changed the rules. So if any society or community participant has to do work just like this one, where 90% is fund given by the ULB, only 10% is given by the community people. So that will be boosting nowadays for more and more water harvesting structures. Next. These are, I just show you one small videos. It will clear all these things. Here is our garden. You see, there's a big tree is there. So during monsoon, all the surface runoff we are making the mechanism in such a way, all the runoff are to be come into this particular common plot. That will be about say 15 lakhs liters. Suppose only 1 inch rain. That will be all water are going on that particular common plots. So these are the beautiful pictures. These are real pictures. During monsoon, it's water harvesting, and after monsoon in summers and winters, this place is played by the kids, and the social function is also be done here. Well, the two things is there: pre-monsoon and post-monsoon activity has to be keep it. So. One another thing I have to mention, surrounded to these particular locations, 1 kilometer in radius, nobody are complaining as far as the water is concerned to the ULB. Because what happened, that water is available 24/7 at your home. They are taking the water, and water level have to be very good in this particular surrounded to this common plot 2 square kilometer periphery. And you see these all trees are very beautifully grown. Also in 1 kilometer, everything is to be green. Next. Here you see, I am just sharing one video. This is a very simple thing. You see the road level is above 1.5 meter from the basin of this garden. And these people taking the post-monsoon and pre-monsoon. What happened? Small holes which is blocked. Actually, there is a permeable aquifer is passing below this garden. So for that reason, it's a very good location. We also will be prepare the map for the permeable aquifer. Next. So these are the simple technique filtration. Everybody knows we just do traditional, and we now plan for the upgradation of this particular location. Next. In our DCR, development control rules, is mandatory to each and every building has to be bore recharge. But what happened once the people are taken then BU and then nobody is take care, because this type of structure has to take each and every year before monsoon as well as the after monsoon. For that reasons, recently we are enforcing some deposit. So they has to pay some deposit. Here you see, suppose there is a plot area, this one here, they has to pay 1,000 deposit, and they has to maintain the bore recharge structure. After 1 year, 50% is given back if they are properly maintained, and after 2 years, if, we have 100% deposits given back for the effective use of means operations of the rainwater harvesting. At present in our city, there is a 35,000 buildings already equipped with the bore recharge. But to make effective bore recharge system, we impose some deposit so people can do better, and that will be helpful for our society next. So this is my small presentation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goswami, for introducing the smart city and your city experience in which is practical experience in mitigating the flood in the city. Now we have these 4 presentations, and as I mentioned earlier, we will have 2 after 4 short presentations. We'll have 2 question and answer session. Now it's first question and answer session, and I would like to open it and request our participants to post their questions as well as to raise their hands. That will give them the floor to ask specific questions to our speakers. Please. Please raise your hand or post your question in the question and answer section, which is on the lower right corner of your screen. Any questions? Raise your hands also. I see no questions yet. And Bayasa, do we have any hands raised? Okay, if no questions at this stage, you will still have a possibility of asking your questions to all speakers at after next presentation, when we'll have our second question and answer sessions before we will conclude the webinar. Then we can then continue our webinar, and I will introduce to you our next presentation. We'll have 2 co-presenters. I would like to invite Ms. Colleen Fernandez, Technical Advisor, American Red Cross, Asia Pacific Regional Office, and Mr. Seth Sarmiento, who is Regional Coordinator, Urban Risk Management of IFRC, Asia Pacific Regional Office. They will present inclusive and empowered collaboration, learning from citywide risk assessment of the coastal city resilience and heat action planning project in Bangladesh and in Indonesia. Mr. Colin Fernandez and Seth Sarmiento, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Armin. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to ask our colleagues from Bangladesh to share this screen. Again, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Seth Sarmiento. I'm the Regional Coordinator for Urban Risk Management in the IFRC Asia Pacific region. Together with me presenting today are colleagues from the Bangladesh Red Crescent Society and our IFRC country office in Dhaka, and our American Red Cross colleagues also in Bangladesh. To start off with our presentation, I would just like to give a brief overview of the Coastal City Resilience and Extreme Heat Action Project, Next slide, please. The Coastal City Resilience and Extreme Heat Action Project is a partnership project on coastal community resilience with the Bangladesh Red Crescent Society and the Palang Merah Indonesia, with support coming from the IFRC, the USAID, American Red Cross, and Climate Center. The COCHAP project aims to build the resilience of coastal communities and also reduce the impact of extreme heat in cities. And this will be done by working with local government offices and national meteorological services. The project is currently implemented in 2 coastal cities in Bangladesh and also 2 cities in Indonesia. To give us more details about the COCHA project, I would like to turn over the floor to the Director of Disaster and Climate Risk Management and also Youth and Volunteering of the Bangladesh Red Crescent Society, Mr. Imam Zafar Sixder.
Thank you, Collins, on all. Myself, Imam Zafar Sixder, along with Malia Ferdowsi, we are here from Bangladesh Red Crescent Society. Please accept our regards from Bangladesh Red Crescent Society. As you were hearing from Mr. Collins, that we, Bangladesh Red Crescent Society, we are implementing this COCHA project in 2 districts, like which location is west southern part of the country. The branch name is Satkhira and Bagherhat municipality. Project duration is 2023 to 2026. To implement the process, we maintain some statistics like that. Initially, we developed the city profiles, which is the current status, and coalition building. We made coalition building. Also, we are doing now citywide risk assessment, and then EVCA, an action plan, and finally the solutions. Here we are trying to mention the project process, which we tried to mention there. That is like the city profile baseline. We tried to address the city profiles of both of municipalities were developed internally. And then coalition building, both cities already have an existing platform named Town Level Coordination Committee, TLCC, which is gazetted by the government of Bangladesh. And then citywide risk assessment, CWRA. These CWRA toolkits was contextualized to country-specific, focusing on the systems and representative from both municipalities, and conducted a core facilitators training on the CWRA toolkit with the municipality representative as participants. And after that, conducted CWRA workshop in both the cities where municipality representative, other development partners, academics, and other relevant city stakeholders participated who are actually involved with the whole mechanism for the better implement of the COCHA project. And the data collection from the workshop where we complete the workshop reports of where we prepared internally. And then what we did, that citywide risk assessment. After getting the collection of the data from the previous mentioned activities, we made external consultant hired with work municipality teams and BDSCs to analyze the city profiles and CWRA workshop reports of both the cities and fill out the gap in the report through desk review and fill, which is the finalized the CWRA reports. The CWRA report initiated the measure system, shocks and stressors of each municipality, and also identified the vulnerable pockets within the municipalities, which was very, very effective initiative, I think, to find the real vulnerable area or community or something like that. Validation workshop will be organized both cities along with the identified 3 most vulnerable wards of Bagrat and Satkhira. And after that, we will go for enhanced vulnerability and capacity assessment. Considering the previous assessment, we will go for this. EBC will be conducted in the identified vulnerable wards, and action plan will be prepared according to the data collected through EBCA. And then solution. Solutions will be developed and implemented according to the action plan of action that will be prepared later. And other activities, and with other activities like capacity building of municipality staffs, national society staffs through orientation, training, exchange visit, etc. Also with the multi-stakeholder workshop to improve the coalitions among city stakeholders. Engagement with the private enterprises at city level to support the reduced climate-induced risks. Learning and events at municipality and national level. And the key learning from the whole process, that is like that facilitate inclusive and collaboration from a wide range of the city stakeholders. We try to mention that every city level stakeholder bring in a wealth of knowledge, and then identify, strengthen, or create collaboration mechanism for driving city actions. So this is already in place, as we tried to earlier mention that the government leaded organizing committee and with the other stakeholders, including the Bangladesh Red Crescent Society and PROS IFRC. So we try to all the mechanism will try to enhance the collaboration mechanism which is strengthened than before. That we try to mention, and promote trust and open communication. This is very important for the partnership and for the response, meaningful response. This dispels negative perceptions and leads integrated working in planning, and then understanding urban system and tracking this from the system perspective. City issues cannot be analyzed or addressed in solution, but part of a larger system. So very true. Promote cross-learning and exchange. This helps to transfer knowledge, information, and resources, which is very much important to implement the process accordingly. Information planning through established city-level planning arrangements and institutions that contribute and lead it. This contributes to higher chance of uptake, ownership, and the sustainability of efforts. So with this few informations, I'd like to conclude. May Maliha, if you feel then, or if any question is, Maliha can reply on behalf of Bangladesh Red Crescent Society.
I think, in this project, we try to ensure the engagement of city authorities to ensure that, the plan will be sustainable, and this will be integrated in the overall, the town level and the city level plan. So that's, after the completion of this project, the plan can be utilized and can be implemented and take over by the other organization as well. So that's all. And this also created an opportunity for cross-learning as well. We tried to give a lot of information and the knowledge from one city to another city so that they can learn from each other. And not only within the country, there will be opportunities to get the knowledge from other countries. Resilient city, how they make the city more resilient. So this project will also have those kind of opportunities. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, if you have any question, we are happy to answer. Over to you, Chef.
Thank you, Mr. Safar and Maliha. Over to you, Armin. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences in assessing the coastal city resilience and in developing a heat action planning. It was very interesting presentation. I see we have 2 questions in the question and answer session. I would encourage you to put more questions. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to have another question and answer session after a couple more presentations. So I would encourage all participants to kindly think and post your questions. Please also indicate when you put your question to what speaker you address it, or to, or if not, if you want to do that. If it's a general question, again, please go ahead and put your questions, and we'll try to address them in our next question and answer session. Now I would like to invite our next presenters, Mr. Susanta Jayasinghe, who is a senior climate data analyst specialist from Asia Disaster Preparedness Center, ADPC. Mr. Susanta Jayasinghe, the floor is yours. And Mr. Jayasinghe will speak about flood risk assessment in 2 cities in Vietnam. Please.
Sure, thanks. Hello everyone, good afternoon from Bangkok. I am Susanta Jayasinghe, Senior Climate Data Specialist from Asian Disaster Preparedness Center. Today, I would like to share maybe with you the information regarding one of our efforts, maybe the assessing urban flood risk, maybe targeting 2 cities in Vietnam. Actually, even though maybe I am presenting you our flood risk assessment work, but we have done the multi-hazard risk assessment for targeting 2 cities, improving the city resilience to climate extremes. Yeah, we conducted this assessment actually under one of our flagship program implemented during the 2018 to 2023. It's regarding the urban resilience to climate extreme in Southeast Asia. We have focused 2 countries, Myanmar and Vietnam, for this whole project. In Vietnam, actually, so we have selected 2 vulnerable cities. Actually, these are delta maybe cities located in northern part and the southern part of the country. And also there's a potential to grow up in the future, so like kind of mega cities. So that's why we have selected these 2 cities. So one is from the northern side, Nam Dinh city. From the southern part of the country, we selected My Tho city. During this project, actually, so this whole project was supposed to build the resilience community in deltaic and coastal urban areas, and strengthening resilience of the urban system and urban communities to current and future climate extremes. So there were a couple of objectives also in this project, actually improving multi-hazard early warning system and risk knowledge in the urban environment to cope up with the climate extreme, then the improve urban sectoral preparedness and maybe emergent response, as well as the strengthening urban governance system to deal with climate extreme. So as one of the activity actually, so we assess this maybe flood risk for these 2 cities. So we also use the same maybe the approach maybe everyone is using, maybe for the risk assessment using the hazard assessment, then exposure and vulnerability assessment to calculate the risk assessment. So one of the key, actually the most important thing what we did here, so most of the actually maybe people try to use the return period approach to calculate the flood risk actually. But here we try to bring in the climate scenario information nowadays actually. So very much maybe the very reasonably or very accurately maybe the calculating or the maybe representing the future climate scenario, maybe future climate condition to this global climate models. So in that sense, we try to bring in this global climate scenario into the picture to calculate the future reasonable, maybe some kind of most maybe accurate climate or the like of maybe the risk assessment to the future of these cities. what we actually, if I highlight the climate scenario component here, in Vietnam, actually, Vietnam government has already selected most suitable climate models for this country. So we have to adhere to those maybe selected models. So then we brought like maybe the set of climate scenario from the NASA Global Exchange, the climate downscaling projection data sets to the this analysis, but we selected the same GCM, maybe the global climate model selected by the government for the further analysis. But we did here, we downscale this actually maybe the global low resolution climate information into the urban level. Maybe actually we downscale into very high resolution 1 kilometer information to cover these whole 2 cities. The project actually targeted three future time horizon, 2030, 50, and 80, as per the request by the city authorities to generate the climate, maybe the flood risk information for these future time horizons. Actually, even though there was maybe set of subset of maybe selected climate models, but we need to bring in the to calculate the most extreme condition to the future. Then we thought of selecting most extreme global climate model that give the extreme condition to the future. So we selected one global climate model to generate the flood risk information for this selected time horizon to cover these 2 cities. So here we utilize the mic software to run the flood model as well as to calculate the flood hazard assessment. For the larger basin, we have used the 2D mic model. For the urban scale, we have used the mic urban software to calculate the maybe the most accurate or like most reasonable maybe the flood hazard information for this urban geography. These are some kind of maybe the final products, special maps of the flood inundation. Actually, so I want to highlight here, we have used many many baseline data, especially for the drainage system, maybe the other irrigation works, and also the other infrastructure facilities as well. Here I want to highlight maybe for the rainfall part actually. So we calculated the 2-day maximum rainfall. In fact, maybe rainfall values to integrated with this mic modeling system to calculate the future flood hazards. So these are the maybe the final products we have generated for the near future, then the medium future as well the far future, targeting to 2030s, 2050s, and 2080s. It is actually clearly showing that maybe with the future extreme situation of the future climate change, maybe there's a higher possibility of the increasing flood threat for the 2 cities. Here you can see only the Nam Dinh city, but the same situation maybe we could I think generate for the Mito city as well. So there's a high potential or the high likelihood of the increase in the future flood condition in these 2 cities. Then so we integrated the exposure layers like building, then the road, to how to calculate their maybe their risk, their impact for the as well as for these different flood conditions. So what we phase 1 issue, actually we were not able to find proper vulnerability curves to calculate the risk from the Vietnam context, but then we have to use some kind of globally adjusted and as well as the some maybe applied for the maybe some of the Southeast Asian countries. So we use the pre-calculated maybe the flood vulnerability curves from the JRC data sets to calculate the potential risk for the urban environment. So we were able to calculate the flood risk for the different in Vietnam they call the maybe the administrative area they call the ward. So we were able to calculate the different flood risk for these different wards. So what we understood actually, as I explained earlier, maybe there's a high potential, high likelihood of the increase in the flood threats to the future as per this maybe when we are using this climate information. So this finding actually we communicated with the city authorities to in a better way to how to use this information to their planning process. So we help them to develop the flood, maybe the risk assessment atlas, as well as the improving their maybe the plan and regulation also as per these maybe the information we generated through these risk assessments. There was another request for them actually to visualize this information in a, like interactive way for their future early warning systems, as well as the use for the other planning and planning processes as well. So we develop interactive maybe the web tool we call Mobilize with the support from the one of the universities in United Kingdom. So they help us to develop this platform. This like interactive visualization system. We can visualize in the 3D information as well, how the different building or different roads may be affecting the different water levels for the different flood situations. So this we have deployed this system of the emergent operating system in these two cities. So they are currently using for their decision making of their maybe to communicate the early warnings to the cities. And not only that actually, so we were able to work with the Vietnam National Hydrometeorology Service in this provincial, the regional level, in the northern part as well as the southern part. So we closely working with these hydrometeor agencies to bring the early warning, anticipatory action, as well as the impact-based forecasting information targeting these two cities. Since we have like a detailed risk assessment information for the cities, as well as the maybe the targeting very much detailed information from the ward inside of the city as well. Since then we were able to actually bring this to develop this impact-based forecast information system to better communicate in the impact and maybe early warning with the impact information to the maybe the communities in the cities. So actually this platform, so we can get a very detailed impact and action related information. So the system is providing the very much detailed information about the which road is going to be inundated, so which road going to be inundated, in how much, in what's the water level, how many electric poles or electric network, maybe electricity network could be damaged. Those kind of detailed information actually they can provide by the city authorities. They can provide to the maybe the communities in the cities, as well as they are providing the possible maybe the action they can be taken during any emergency. This is the one of the actually beauty of this having like a detailed risk assessment is in the urban level. So as I mentioned earlier, so our other objective was to maybe the improving the sectoral preparedness, especially for the energy sector, then the water sector, as well as the transport sector, to bring this climate information, their policies and planning, as well as building their capacities to how to use this information for the better planning of their maybe their respective sectors. Not only that, maybe sectors, so we were able to closely work with the maybe the urban communities to build their capacities to use this information by themselves for the better preparedness, for better preparing the maybe any climate emergencies to the future. That's all I have for you today. So yeah, thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Susanta Jansingh, for your insightful presentation on ADPC experience in assessing flood risk assessment in two cities in Vietnam. I see we already have a question, but we'll leave it for the question and answer sessions. So yeah, we'll come back to this and we'll try to address all these questions. Thank you again. And now I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Donald Uksang, who is a president of Business Development SEA, Drone Entry Company Limited, Thailand. This is our second private sector representative speaker, and Dr. Donald Uksang will speak about geo-aerial solutions for disaster management. Dr. Uksang, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Armin, for the kind introduction. And on behalf of Drone Entry Thailand, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizer, the Regional Resource Center for Asia Pacific, for extending the invitation to speak with you all today about, sharing experiences during this webinar presentation. Okay, so in today's presentation, we will delve into the subject of geo-area solutions utilizing drone technology for disaster management. And about our company, so Drone Entry is a pioneering company located within the campus of the Asian Institute of Technology, operating under the prestigious AIP Science and Technology Park, which has been granted by the Thailand Board of Investment. As a fully integrated air integration company, we specialize in various aspects of drone technology, including comprehensive training courses, drone as a service, and cutting-edge technologies for drone and satellite software analytics, as well as drone manufacturing. Now, Drone Entry's geo-area solutions, powered by advanced drone technology, find applications across all four critical phases of disaster management, including mitigation, preparedness, recovery, and response. During the mitigation phase, drones serve as invaluable tools for surveying expansive urban areas. And you can see from here, these drones are equipped with our sensors, and these drones collect raw data that can be subsequently processed, analyzed to produce something like an example 3D models, where the assessment of structural stability in built environment and evaluation of slope stability in rugged terrains are determined. Furthermore, drone data is leveraged to generate thematic map layers, which can be integrated into mapping models to define some sample of high-risk areas, such as drought-prone agricultural lands, flood-prone zones, earthquake epicenters, cyclone-prone regions, and other similar areas of concern. In addition to the above-mentioned applications, the mitigation phase encompasses a diverse range of uses for drone technology, including 3D modeling for traffic planning and analytics. In this case, we use drones to create detailed 3D models to aid traffic planning and analysis to optimize road layouts and transportation systems. In waste management, we use drones to identify dumping sites and assess their extent to effectively clean and waste manage the strategies. In green infrastructure, we use drones to identify optimal locations for green spaces, such as parks, urban forests, and green groups. So on and so forth. We have water management, and also infrastructure inspection, where drones are deployed for the inspection of critical infrastructure, detecting early signs of wear and tear, structural damages, and potential hazards, thus enabling practices that maintains and mitigates risk. During the preparedness phase, drone-centric training courses plays a crucial role in building the capacity of city government officials and urban planners, ensuring they are well prepared to respond effectively in the event of a disaster. These courses cover various aspects such as UAV flight training, data processing, and GIS analytics, equipping personnel with the necessary skills and knowledge to leverage drone technology for disaster preparedness and response efforts. Additionally, timely deployment of field teams is paramount upon receiving alerts of potential disasters. This team should be fully equipped and prepared at all times to respond swiftly to deployment calls. This readiness ensures that field teams can mobilize quickly and efficiently, maximizing their effectiveness in conducting assessments, gathering crucial data, and providing support during emergency situations. During the response phase, drones play a pivotal role in facilitating efficient and effective disaster response, such as live video coverage, where drones can provide real-time video footage of disaster-affected areas, which can be streamed live over the internet. We can also create action maps to identify or to aid in the planning and evaluation of evacuation routes, identification of priority areas for assistance, and selection of locations for relief camps. Other applications for response phase include emergency relief delivery, where drones can be utilized for the rapid delivery of emergency relief supplies and medicines to affected areas that may be inaccessible by traditional means of transportation. Drones are also equipped with speakers and floodlights, which can be used for the case of providing public announcements and also siren warnings, alerting individuals and residents to evacuate in cases of upcoming disaster. And of course, with floodlights, we can do day and night search and rescue operations. In the recovery phase, drones and data analytics serve as invaluable tools for conducting comprehensive damage assessments and facilitating the recovery process. These are just few examples. One is in building damage assessment. We could do transportation infrastructure disruptions analytics, agricultural damage evaluation, business interruptions, and evacuation and rescue plan, to name a few. We have 3 cases of examples during floods and 1 case for use of drones for food delivery and logistics. The first case is the use of drones to assess the damage caused by Cyclone Titley way back in October 2018, provide invaluable insights into the extent of devastation in affected areas. And this includes aerial assessment, damage documentation, identification of access roads, first and rescue support, and post-disaster mapping. The impact of Cyclone Titley was devastating, resulting in widespread destruction and displacement across affected regions from floods and landslides, affecting an estimated of 400,000 people and displacing 127,000 houses and about 63,000 seeking refuge in the camps. So this is an example where we overlay the drone data with a cadastral maps to identify which farms, which properties have been affected for the government to provide subsidies to help them find some kind of relief after the flood. So the aftermath of Cyclone Titley underscored the urgent need for robust disaster preparedness and response mechanism to mitigate the impact of such extreme weather events and ensure the safety and well-being of vulnerable communities in cyclone-prone regions. Overall, the use of drones in assessing the damage caused by Cyclone Titley played a crucial role in facilitating rapid response, effective resource allocation, and informed decision-making, ultimately contributing to the sufficient management of post-disaster recovery efforts in the affected regions. Another case that we had was during the Kerala floods of 2020, where a catastrophic event that affected the entire state of Kerala, causing widespread devastation and displacement. So in response to the flooding, drone technology was deployed to aid various aspects of disaster management, and drones were utilized for hyperlocalization of survivors and emergency resources, enabling authorities to identify and locate individuals in need of assistance in flooded area. We also have real-time video and image relay providing crucial situational awareness to rescue teams and decision-making on the ground, allowing for swift and informed response to evolving conditions. The third use case that we had was made during the super cyclonic typhoon Amphan, an extremely powerful catastrophic tropical cyclone that caused widespread damage in eastern India, specifically in West Bengal and Odisha, including Bangladesh in May 2020. Overall, the integration of drone technology into disaster management strategies represent a significant advancements in advancing the preparedness, response, and recovery capabilities of communities facing the impact of disasters, such as the Kerala floods of 2020. Through the continued innovation and collaboration, drone technology holds the potential to further strengthen resilience and mitigate the devastating effects of future disasters. The last case study that I would like to share with you is during the COVID-19 pandemic, where there was an urgent need to expedite the distribution of vaccines to remote and inaccessible areas, particularly in densely populated regions like India, where traditional modes of transportation faced logistical challenges and delays, prompting the exploration of alternative ways to deliver vaccines. So Drone Acharya, which is a parent company of Drone Entry, partnered with Flipkart, which is one of India's largest e-commerce platform, to leverage the expertise in drone technology and logistics respectively. This strategic collaboration aimed to facilitate the rapid and efficient delivery of COVID vaccines contained in this specialized box to underserved communities across the state of Telangana. The project received support from the government of Telangana and key stakeholders like the Apollo hospitals. Overall, the partnership between Drone Acharya, Flipkart, and other key stakeholders exemplifies the potential of drone technology to address critical challenges in logistics, especially during emergencies such as the COVID-19 pandemic. By harnessing the capabilities of drones for beyond the line of site operation, the project demonstrated a scalable and sustainable approach to vaccine distribution with broader implications for public health and disaster response initiatives. Their colleagues and participants, I hope that this presentation has offered you valuable insights and inspiration regarding the utilization of geo-area solutions powered by drone technology in disaster management and urban resilience efforts. Thank you for your attention, and should you have any further inquiries or require additional information, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are also open to collaboration and partnership opportunities. Thank you so much and good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Uksang. I think you come up with very interesting and practical application and using drones in disaster risk management efforts. I think it was very interesting presentation. Thank you very much for this. Our next presentation, before we open floor for discussions, is I would like to introduce Mr. Haji Muhtfazil Suhami bin Talibin, who is Chief Assistant Director, Civil Work Department, Johor Bahru City Council. And he will speak about higher tides, sharing the experience of flood management in Johor, Malaysia. Please, floor is yours, Mr. Talibin.
Very good afternoon. Sorry, I try my speaker. Can hear my speaker?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Very good. Okay. Actually, firstly, I like to thanks to all of the participants, all of the coordinator to invite me to join this webinar to share whatever actually we have. So, firstly, Mr. Aman, thank you very much. Okay, actually, I would like to share in terms of management of flash flood at Johor Bahru since 2029 to 2024. Next. Okay, next. Okay, actually, this one is a statistic of the hotspot. Sorry, because my writing in Malay, but I try to translate to English. So if we see the statistic from 2019 until 2024 to Johor Bahru City Council or to Johor Bahru Capital, actually in Johor Bahru in state of Johor, actually we have 10 district. One the district be a capital of Johor state is Johor Bahru City. So at Johor Bahru City have 3 city council actually. One is Johor Bahru City Council. Second thing is Pasir Gudang City Council. Another one is Iskandar Putih City Council. So we have 3 city council. So this one I would like to share at center of Johor Bahru City Council or capital of Johor Bahru district. So if we see the statistic, actually we have 40 numbers of hotspot for the flood. So if we see the color, green, yellow, and red. So green mean already settled, yellow in action, and red is still under management or still under planning. Okay, next. Okay, this one is the whole hotspot banjir under city council. The rest is under another agencies like DID or drainage or irrigation department and under road department. So if we see the hotspot of the location of the flood, you can see the red dot. Red dot is actually beside the main river. The green in color is the main river, and the river will going to the causeway of Johor, mean beside to the Singapore. That one is this one is international boundary. if you can see, the line between two is northeast Malaysia and southeast Singaporean or Singapore. Okay, you can see green in color mean already settled. Yellow is under construction, will settle in this year. So balance will settle at 2025. Next. Okay, this actually our numbers of statistics starting from 2020 until 23. So now from the 27 increase to 40, and then selesai mean settle. So we are already settled at 2020 is 4. 2021 we already settled 6 numbers. 2022 we already settled 3, and in 2023 last year we already settled 12 location. So balance will settle in this year and next year. So our aim is 0 hotspot plug for 2026. Okay, next. Okay, this one is our aim. So for City Council is MBJB. MBJB is Majlis Bandaraya Johor Bahru. So our aim is at 2026 we all the numbers of the hotspot will decrease from 23 to 0. That actually our aim. JKR mean under road department. That one we leave it to road department to settle it, and after we settle our issue, we'll have road department and the ID department. GPS is the ID department. Both is under federal department. Okay, next. Okay, this one is this numbers of the place or numbers of the hotspot area. We will settle it. So, like I say, green is already settled. Number 3 is still 0, so under planning. Okay, next. Okay, 5 to 7, 5 and 6 already complete, and number 7 still under construction, and numbers 200,000 mean the cost of the area, and nama project mean name of project. Name of project mean we will upgrade. Number 7 mean the method of the settlement, we will upgrade the existing drainage system. Next. Okay, this one actually same. Like I mentioned, actually we already have total is 23. So maybe we can skip it. Next. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, this one is number of the statistic. So we hope by 2026 all the hotspot area will be settled. So balance we will arrange for planning to arrange for the settlement. So the number will reduce from 40 to 12 balance for 2026. So at 2026 we will plan to settle the whole hotspot area. Okay, next. Okay, actually this one is one of the example, one of the places, flood places. So actually the number of the case is 1, but step to settle it is very, very long. This one is one of the catchment or one of the flood cases. So if we see the color inside the box, we can see yellow and green. So yellow mean and green will finish in this year. So balance will finish or will complete for the next year. So when we see the number of A, B, C, D, E, that one if the cases will settle for the next year, and for the another plannings. Next. Okay, this one we share the pictures of the location of the flood. This one is the village of the village area. So I just want to share what of the main factor this flood happen. First thing, because this area is too near to the causeway of Johor. So our problem is during heavy rain and high tide. So when the heavy rain and high tide happen in the same time, so we already use pump to settle this issue. We can see the right picture at the corner. That one is the local pump. So during heavy rain and high tide, the pump cannot function. Because why? Because during heavy rain, so the water cannot flow out to the sea. Because why? Because at the boundary between river and sea, we put tidal gate. So we can open the tidal gate. If we open the tidal gate, so water from the sea will come in to the land, and that one become worse. That's why our planning now, we upgrade the existing pump, and this for this issue, we raise up both of the drainage structure to make sure during heavy rain, all the water cannot flow inside to the villages area. Okay, next. Okay, this one is another issue. So we can facing red in color actually is the hospital area. Red in color is hospital area. So during heavy rain, some of the portion hospital will flood around half meter. That's why now our improvement, if you can see the triangle, yellow triangle in color, that one is our proposal for future to make another additional water pump. Actually, that additional water pump to make sure during heavy rain we can pump it all the water going up to the sea. So in beside the triangle yellow color, we can see the square yellow color. That one is already pumped, but not enough to cater the existing water from the upstream. Actually, we can see the picture for the left side. Most of the area actually at the parking area, hospital parking area, our general hospital, and another thing is beside our not far actually from the hospital. This one actually very serious issue. So this one we already planned to make flood mitigation study to settle up this issue. So we can see actually we already design a few methods to settle this issue. Okay, next. Okay, this one is one of the area actually beside our our government management building. So if you can see the smaller picture at the middle, that one is one part of the palace. So we can see one part of the palace flood because the water from upstream coming through the land. This one actually same issue. Now we provide the bigger pump to pump it all the water during heavy rain to the sea, to the causeway of Johor. Okay, we can see the upper color, yellow in color. That one is actually lake. Actually, that one is man-made lake. Man-made lake. Actually, we convert the man-made lake to be a detention pond to reduce the causes of the flood. So red in color is the area, the affected area. So blue in color is the alignment for the river. That's why now we try to manage at the red in color. Now at the red in color, we try to put we try to design tank under the road. If we see the right picture under the car, for this year our project actually we made underground tank absorb all the water around 300 meter length to absorb all the water storage, so and pump it to the causeway or to the sea to make sure all the area uh, not affected during flood, because at the last at the right side is the general court and our federal office. Okay, next.
If I may interrupt here, because of the timing, and we have 5 to 7 minutes for each presentation maximum, can I kindly ask you to have for 1 more minute to wrap up, because I see you have still many slides, that you still have 1 minute to wrap it up, but that we go to the question and answer session. So thank you very much.
Okay, next. Okay, actually this one of the concept how to settle all this issue. Actually, our main problem at Johor Bahru City Council or at our capital city of Johor Bahru is causes of the high tide. So same issue at the same district. So the main issue is during heavy rain and high tide. So our target now, we try to do much of tidal system and pumping system to make sure all the residential not affected during the heavy rain. This concept. First, we changing the concept retention pond from wet to dry pond. Actually, our constraint now, we only have a few pond, so we convert from the wet pond to dry pond to increase the volume of the storage of water. So this thing can help us to reduce the risk of the flood. And I think we cleaning all the main drain channel, and we number 3 we put another system, either local system or the major system to the residential or to the main drain to make sure during heavy rain all the water not coming to the residential area. And number 4 is we build and upgrade existing river wall structure. Mean we raise up the wall. This one can help us to increase the volume of the storage of the water inside the main drain. And the long term, actually we engage a consultant or a specialist to help us to look all these issues, not for now, but for the future development. Because our aim is we try to solve this thing not for the now, not for the for the short term, but for the long term. Okay, next. Okay, I just want to share the villages area. Next. Okay, next. Next. Okay, next. Okay, next. Next. Okay, next. This one, what? Okay, this one is okay. Okay. I just want to share this one. This one is a very unique issue. This one is a villages area. Mean total of this flood area is more than 500 unit of houses, and this flood happened less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes, flooded will increase until until 0.5 to 1 meter inside the house. So what we do with the ID department, we put additional water pump, increase the volume of water pump, increase the capacity for volume pump, and we call borrow pit. Borrow pit mean we design storage or area to storage the water during the heavy rain. This one we this one actually the number of the statistic of the flood is actually vary every month. At least at 2 months, at 2 or 3 months will happen this flood. Very next. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, okay, next. Actually, same issue.
In fact, you might need to wrap up shortly. Just echoing Armin as well. Sorry, just because I know we're running out of time. Thanks.
Okay. Next. Actually, I go to conclusion. Okay, I just go to conclusion. Actually, now we already make a new early warning system. Actually, I have the slide, but in a moment. Actually, now we already have our new early warning system, and that system we share to the public, and that system we can control with smartphone. So before all the flood happen, all the citizen or all the residential now, and we can share this thing to the authority agency, and we can decrease number of victims during heavy rain. That what we do now, and at city council now, actually we add more than 400 intelligent CCTV to help us, and that intelligent CCTVs can measure the level of the flood to help us to early identify if the area flood, and that all that view we can share to the people, especially to the affected area. That's information already I can share to the from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your sharing your experiences, your city experiences. If I may, I see we have some questions, and I think if I may ask, I wonder if our people who put questions, they want to ask questions live. Please raise your hands to ask. If not, I will read them. Okay, I don't see any hands raised, but let me start. I think there were two questions which related to Mr. Susana Jayasinghe. Maybe we'll start with these two questions. So first question for Mr. Susana Jayasinghe was how accurate the prediction will be, since the result is focused more on the city in the extent, when it should be in the river basin or canal based, which more reliable at the risk management. Mr. Jayasinghe, would you like to respond? Can I kindly ask speakers who are not using, just mute their microphones. Thank you. Yeah. So, Mr. Susana Jayasinghe, can you answer to this question? How accurate the prediction will be, and since the result is focused more on the city in extent, when it should be in the river-based or canal-based, which more reliable as the risk assessment? And the second question is from to you is how many countries or regions can the mobilize and IBFW tools simulate, and how can we assess these tools? Please.
Thanks everyone for your questions. Maybe I will start from the second question for the impact-based forecasting tool which we developed for the Vietnam context actually. So it is operation by the Vietnam National Hydrological Service. It is fully scalable and open source platform. But currently we are our tool implementing only in Vietnam context. So now we are discussing with the other South Asian countries like Sri Lanka as well, but it is still in the discussion stage. As far as I know, impact-based forecasting currently operationalizing in Indonesia and Philippines in this region. So yeah, maybe we are happy to help you on that. Any development support is needed. So we can integrate any hazard to this one, not only floods. maybe the typhoons, maybe landslide or whatever the drought, any hazard we can integrate here for the to generate the impact-based forecasting information. For the second question about the accuracy in the city level, actually, since we are trying to integrate the climate scenario information, because the climate scenario information, there are a lot of uncertainties there. So that's why we try to integrate this extreme condition, maybe the possible extreme and possible minimum. So minimum is actually already zero when it comes to the flood. Maybe that's why we try to assess the highest extreme condition to the future. So using the approved global climate models for this in Vietnam context. So we use the two, maybe the RCP scenarios. Actually, we use the CMIP 5 dataset because until today, Vietnam government has approved only the CMIP 5 model, even though now the CMIP 6 model also available. For the RCP scenario, we consider maybe RCP 4.5 and 8.5 to again see the maybe the scenario base to see the medium and the highest scenario maybe condition. So when we are maybe communicating this result to our policymakers or the stakeholders, so we need to communicate about the uncertainty of these predictions. This could be there's a higher possibility of happening, but it is totally depend on our future adaptation or maybe the adaptation activities, not only the country level, maybe in the global level. Maybe the emission scenario might be changes to the future. So that's why we try to give the possible highest extreme conditions, so that then the government or maybe the city authorities as per their maybe the resources availability, so they can take some kind of measurements to minimize the flood damage, maybe building or high or whatever they may be expand in the water canals for the proper flood water retain or like removing. So those kind of measurement they can take as per their maybe the budget or the resources availability. To this assessment, to carry out this assessment, actually the Center for Environment and Fluid Dynamics in Vietnam, they help us to do the modeling part, but all the climate information or the data set provided by the ADPC for this one. So accuracy, when it comes to the accuracy, actually, as I mentioned earlier, totally maybe depend on the maybe the climate scenario be accuracy. So as I mentioned earlier, so that's why this the most possible or the most highest extreme condition maybe that can be generated to the future to cope up with this maybe extreme situations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me read another question. This is a Keshav Raj Pokhrel. He is asking a question to Mr. Chen. And the question to Mr. Chen is, did you adopt any specific water cement ratio or any additives to increase the strength of the blocks? Mr. Chen, can you please address this question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well. Yes.
Okay, so actually this question is for the conventional permeable pavement, and the JW technology is directed to innovating permeable pavement. So actually we just use the normal concrete, and we can use the high strength concrete or cement, and to prevent the conventional permeable pavement weakness. Namely, we have mentioned about that the traditional one have to use some specific water cement ratio to create the voids, but actually we create the voids by our vents. That's which is made of the plastic tube, and so we say that we create the water channel through the water pipe, and actually it's very high efficient and no compromise in strength. That's why we call ourselves pavement a revolutionary pavement. It will create a lot of benefit instead of the traditional pavement. So actually, this question is not really in our scope, and we create a new structure to solve this problem. And I think it will be very useful for dealing with the flooding and drought as we mentioned, we create the on-site water circulation to achieve all these benefits. So I think this should be the answer for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take two more questions. And this question is to Ding Tai. How do you determine capacities of the water storage, and how do you deal with the overflow?
Okay, so the answer would be that actually it will be really depends on the demand for the clients and the local condition. As we know that actually we has mentioned the water is a finite resource. So the larger capacity will be better, but surely the financial cost will be an issue. So in this way, we have it really depends on the demand and the local weather condition. So there will be we can do the custom the tailor-made design to solve the local problems. For example, in the desert or in the flooding prone area, then surely the design will be different. And also that our system can be designed to collect all the water, so there will be no overflow. And by using this, we say that for water on the ground, it causes flooding and it causes a lot of trouble, disaster, and property loss. But when we just allow the water to percolate underground, actually it becomes a resource. That's what we aim to do, and we provide our system to achieve this. So we aim to, we want to cooperate with all the partners and to make to solve all the water problems, too much water, too little water, too dirty water. And we have solve all the water problem in the Asian Pacific area. So let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next question is to Fazil Suhami. The question is, how are the pumps secured so that they do not flood?
Okay, thank you very much. Relate to the question. Can hear, Mr.
Yes, we can hear you well. Please.
Okay, thank you. Actually, at our city now, we use a submersible pump with automatic detector, combination with what we call is a flap system. So during heavy rain, the flap system automatic will close, and when the level at the land is high, so the system automatic permit the system to the sea, and we put at least 2 until 6 numbers of the pumps. So during heavy rain, the pump will run from the 1 until 6 numbers to make sure all the level at the land side, at the land area, not increase the critical level, to make sure if the flood still happen, so the car still can moving or the villagers still can walking. Actually we reduce the number, we reduce the level of critical. Actually we not solve 100% the problem, but we reduce first the risk of the flood, and second thing is we reduce the numbers of the statistic, because our challenge now is our climate change changing. Previously our intensity is less than 100 mm per hours. Nowadays at Johor Bahru City, for the last year we achieved 150 mm per hours. That's why we increase the number of the pumps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I see the Aprila Nitya, I think she left. Aprila, please correct me if I'm wrong. So the question, we can leave this. But last question from Keshav Raj Pokhrel. The question is to Mr. Garrigan, but I think Mr. Garrigan already left. I wonder if Keshav Raj Pokhrel, you will allow me to address these questions to all speakers to pick up, or you want to rephrase your question, please? I see you are fine. Let me put these questions to all speakers who wants to pick it up. It's a good question. Do you have any existing policies on climate risk insurance to help citizens recover from the climate disasters? Or I wonder if anyone wants to comment and address this question.
In our local body, we have disaster policy related to flood during the flooding. So there is all on-board agencies, including the ULBs and police and fires and other all stakeholders are to be on alert. We have grievance and dedicated ICCC center is there. So they are monitoring entire system, and some good policies already at present is there with us.
Thank you very much. I think before we quickly wrap up this this webinar and give a big thanks to all speakers and participants, and I'll give the floor to Dr. Ramesh soon. There is a very short announcement by our colleagues from UN Habitat and UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. So if I may invite Ms. Sunisa Sodrak and Tam Huang to share their updates on Asia Pacific Minister Conference on DRR. Please.
Thank you very much, Armin. So a very quick one from UNDRR. So this year, we are going to arrange the Asia Pacific Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction. So for those who are not familiar with this conference, so the conference is the main platform, like in Asia Pacific regions, that we are going, have it for monitoring, reviewing, and also enhanced collaborations for the implementation of the SENDAC framework for disaster risk reductions. And because of last year, there was a year for the SENDAC framework midterm review. So the theme of this year is the Eye on 2030s, enhanced ambitions in Asia Pacific to accelerate the disaster risk reduction. So from here, from the presentation, so can you make it in the big screen, please? So for this year, so we have 3 pillars, which is like the focusing on, like the first one is on disaster risk reduction financings, and also like the leaving no one behind. And also last but not least, that focusing on the localizations and urban and rural resilience. So from those 3 pillars, so we also have like 4 themes cross-cutting, that focusing on science, technologies, stakeholder coordinations, private sector engagement, and also convergence. And last but not least is the most important thing is that these events will be co-hosted by the government of the Philippines from 14 to 17 of October. So over from my side, let me hand over to Tam for another event. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that as well, Sunisa. I'll just quickly share my screen as well so that we can continue here on. Just making sure that my screen now is showing. Give me a sec. Yeah, is my screen showing? Just double checking.
Not yet. It's still
Not
in white.
yet.
Okay.
Now, yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Great, fantastic. So thank you so much. Just to share as well there, we'll be having a World Urban Forum that will be taking place in Cairo in Egypt from the 4th to the 8th of November. We'll be expecting around 20,000 participants there in Cairo this year. It'll be right ahead of COP29, so quite convenient if you're already planning to go to Baku for COP29. The theme of the event is It All Starts From Home. So looking at local actions, very, of course, relevant to the discussions and what we are having here today in the context of disasters. There'll be many dialogues, ministerial discussions, platforms, of course, a great opportunity for you to showcase your work, everything that many of you have already shared and discussed here today as well. And then we'll be having partner-led events. So there's different types of events. There's networking. There's a library if you're launching some reports. There's an urban cinema if you've got media that you'd like to share, and an expo, training events as well. So building upon, of course, what APMC DRR will be, and looking more at the urban space there. So just to share, all the information is already online. Registrations are open. The applications to side events is open until the 8th of April, so a bit more time there. The expos will be open there shortly as well. So thank you so much for that, and handing back the floor to you, Armin. Thanks. Over.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we are now going to wrap up the webinar, and I would like to invite Dr. Ramesh Siosa, who is the head of Climate Change and Disaster Risk Resilience Cluster at the AITR-RCAP, to kindly conclude this thematic webinar. Dr. Siosa, floor is yours.
Thank you, Armin. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and on behalf of the Regional Resource Center for Asia and the Pacific, it's an honor for me to give the closing remarks for this MCR 2030 series webinar on Asia and Pacific cities' experiences in applying water-related disaster management approaches. I have been following the progress of Making Cities Resilience 2030, or better known as MCR 2030 initiative, with keen interest, and would like to express my sincere gratitude with its success in collectively facilitating MCR 2030 in the region. With 96% of the disaster risks linked directly and indirectly with water, over 4.5 billion people were affected by water-related disasters between 1998 and 2017. Although death toll was contained with time, the economic losses have skyrocketed, and less than 10% of the DRR financing is invested in disaster prevention and preparedness, as rightly pointed out by Yoshida-san at the beginning of the conference. We have heard some eminent speakers presenting excellent work today in this webinar with their experiences, know-how, important approaches and contributions to water-related disaster management in Asia Pacific. The private sector additions to this Asia Pacific MCR 2030 webinar is of great importance to us. I wish to thank and acknowledge the grassroots level work shared today by Ding Tai Company Limited, Taiwan, Rajkot Smart City Development Limited, India, and Drone Entry Company Limited, Thailand. I also greatly appreciate the excellent work and active participation of our MCR 2030 partners that we work so closely with. We are honored to work with you, and it's great work that you're doing, and we hope to continue these great works. The partners, as listed earlier on, is United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, which is UNDRR, United Nations Human Settlement Program, which is UN Habitat, the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, UNESCAP, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society, which is IFRC, Local Governments for Sustainability, which is ICLEI, United Cities and Local Governments, which is UCLG, and Asian Disaster Preparedness Center, ADPC. I would also like to thank our patron, Ministry of Environment, the Government of Japan, for without their support, this webinar would not be possible. I would finally like to thank the team at AITR-RCAP that put all these things together, headed by Dr. Gilberto, Armen, Sharina, Bias, Win, Ja, Dennis, and of course, all the rest of the backup team, which is working from here, for their untiring efforts to make this possible. Thank you, guys. It was a great team effort and well done. Before I close and wrap up, I would like to take this opportunity again to share AITR-RCAP's knowledge products, which were mentioned by our director, Dr. Gilberto, at the beginning, which were recently launched in AP Plat, the 2 new e-learning courses, which are integrating gender and indigenous factors into locally led adaptation and using FLOODES and flood forecasting tool for adaptation planning at city level. They both carry experiences in water-related disaster management approaches and would provide a continuation to learning as of today's webinar in the form of self-learning. So the e-learnings can also be found at AP Plat, as mentioned earlier, as also at AITR-RCAP's new e-learning hub, which is accessible through AITR-RCAP main web page. Last but not least, I thank you all for the participants, for having taken time from your busy schedules to contribute to our joint effort to strengthen water-related cities' resilience in Asia and the Pacific region through this webinar. Thank you, and over to you, Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you all. I would like to thank you, Ramesh, for very nice closings, and the biggest thanks goes to our participants for their questions, for active participation, as well to our good colleagues and partner organizations. Thank you all very much, and have very good rest of the day. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Thanks, colleagues. Thanks, AI team, colleagues. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tam. Very good, Mr. Tam.
Bye.
Mr. Ramesh. See you next time. So when our event at Malaysia? When our event at Malaysia? Future?
Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you, everybody. Very good.